before we start talking about the episode, now that we're recording, let's just talk about our views on the 13th Doctor's era on the whole. Do you want to start?
It's mainly meh, with a few highlights to me.
Yeah, I agree. I think...
I don't think it's anything awful.
Yeah.
Just meh.
Yeah, it's just sort of been like okay. There have been some pretty bad episodes in my opinion, but then there's also just been sort of very sort of bog standard ones that are like okay. But
I mean, there's a couple I like that I think are great. There's not a lot.
There's like one episode I think was like really really good, but it was purely for the cliffhanger, and that was Spyfall. Although I generally thought everything in it was really good, but the cliffhanger I think really counted. I mean, I only had one gripe with that episode, which was the Doctor trying to do the poker scene, whatever, and just went snap. That just really annoyed me for some reason. The idea of this hundreds and hundreds and maybe thousands, billions of years old Time Lord just not knowing how to play snap and just poker and just doing that, it's just really ticked me off. But
I mean, like there are some good. I still like Demons of the Punjab. I rank that actually very high.
That one was alright. I don't think it was like amazing.
I like that one. I like most of the historicals. Like any of the history ones, I'm like, yeah, these are good.
Chibnall and kind of a bit boring, because one of my problems with Chibnall as a writer really is that I just don't think he's great when he writes. I think he's better as sort of a director, showrunner sort of thing. You know?
He's good at setups. He's not very good at...
And the thing is, he's a big Doctor Who fan, so like, he...
Oh yeah, I mean, the fact that what he did with the Timeless Child, I actually think he generally knows a lot of history. He pulled up so many loose ends from classic films.
There's also that video out there where he is literally criticising the current era of the show, but we also know that he is quite a big Pertwee fan, I believe, and so the Sontar, I feel like he could do the Sontarans maybe some justice. He did the Master pretty well, I thought Sacha Dhawan's Master has to be actually one of our greatest Masters. I personally think he's...
I enjoyed him. I think I prefer Missy, but that might just be because we just had her. And I might just be having that kind of like, I preferred the last one syndrome.
I'd say I put Sacha Dhawan as maybe like my fourth favourite Master, under sort of like the likes of Beavers, Ainley, Jacoby, you know.
Yeah. I mean, he's definitely not the worst New Who Master.
I really, really liked him. Like, the moment he came on the screen and revealed himself as the Master, I think I was buzzing. It was the first time I'd actually been excited about Doctor Who again.
Yeah.
And then part 2 of Spyfall... part 2 of Spyfall comes along and ruins it for me.
Well, that classic Chibnall rushed ending.
Yes.
But when it comes to Masters, definitely New Who. He's probably my third.
Yeah.
It's just hard to beat the War Doctor and Missy, to me. I'm just like...
One thing I will say about this episode, I
definitely better than Sim, though.
We're not going to discuss the episode quite yet, because there's another thing I want to bring up before we do. But one thing I will say is, I did feel it was very rushed, very fast. Some ways I thought it was good, but some ways I thought it was like, slow down, I'm struggling to breathe this in, I'm struggling to focus on what's going on, and considering I'm a guy who watches like 2x speed videos quite often, that actually says something, you know?
Yeah, there was a hell of a lot going on there, but the thing is, I'm not too worried.
A little too much going on.
Because each of them are going to be focused on in an episode each.
Yes, I think that
You're going to get the Sontarans next.
I think that is what's going on.
Then we'll do the Angels, then we'll do the...
Yes. I do think there was some really interesting elements going on.
Then we'll do Mr. Hellraiser guy who's the big villain.
Yeah, we'll discuss him maybe next after the next thing I want to talk about. So, we talked about what we think of Jodie's era. What do you think of Russell T Davies coming back?
Depends if it's going to be... I'm not the biggest fan of his era. It's weird.
Yes.
There's a lot of things in his era I didn't like. The mystery box, constant returning villains, which is what I loved about Susan.
I feel like the mystery box thing is more of a Moffat thing. Like, he overused it even more.
Yeah. I mean, the three examples of it being good, Davies had 2 of them.
Yeah.
Which is Series 1 and Series 4.
Yeah.
Because those mystery boxes were subtle and didn't get in the way of the plot line.
But if I was to sort of...
and weren't like in your face going, ooh, what's this mystery?
I personally like the RTD era, like many people, but it's probably mainly down to nostalgia. There are, I sometimes watch episodes and I'll be like, oh, actually, as a hardcore classic Whovian, now that I've watched a lot more classic Who, the thing is, with Chibnall, there's a very much flat level of meh. With Russell, it's very up and down. Yes, it's a bit like that.
It's very extremes.
And then with Moffat, there was quite a lot of up and down as well. But the problem with Moffat was there was quite a lot of sort of down at times. You know, like I felt like it was more down than up.
Yeah.
But like it was fairly comparable. But I would say I probably prefer RTD to Chibnall and Moffat. Like on the whole.
I put Moffat probably last out of the 3.
Ooh. Yeah, I'd probably do the same, actually.
Probably not a popular opinion now, at the moment, but looking back critically at Moffat's era, there's so much worse than better.
I'd say Series 5 was good. Series 6 was just horrible. I think there was only like 1 episode I enjoyed, which was like God Complex. Series 7 was...
I love God Complex is where Amy and Rory should have freaking left the show.
Yes, agreed. I absolutely love God Complex.
That was their freaking ending.
Yes.
And Moffat has that problem with both of these eras' companions.
That Weeping Angels episode with them in Manhattan, like the ending...
They just shouldn't have been in that whole series.
Yeah, but
they should have not returned.
Their ending just doesn't even make sense, in all honesty. It's just like 6-point nonsense, timey-wimey, wibbly-wobbly, like all that New Who Moffat nonsense. Like,
I just don't know why they brought them back. They should have spent the first half of the series with Clara. It should have been setting up
Clara, quite frankly.
They should have had every episode should have had a new Clara and setting up that mystery.
Underdeveloped companions, though, one thing I would like to just mention with the episode
Are you going to mention how more interesting Yaz is now?
Well, I'm actually going to say the opposite, right?
Oh, I like Yaz in this. I was like interested. I was like,
all she was doing was technobabble, right? Like just random technobabble. And they talked about maybe like, oh yeah, the Doctor and Jazz have done several adventures since this. But like, I feel like we should have actually maybe seen a couple of them to make her sort of more fleshed out. And now you're already throwing in 2 other companions. And we've clearly already seen that 3 companions at once is clearly difficult to sort of develop all of them. If you look back at Hartnell era, they just about sort of got away with it. But I mean, I'd say questionable, really. They were.
The thing with Hartnell era is the companions very much fit a slot. It was very much the female got captured, and the male was like the muscle. And
I don't want to say dated because I do really, really like Hartnell era, but it is a little bit dated. But I still like watch it and enjoy it. You know, like at least the stories were really fun, and I do like the characters. It's just. When you look back at it, it is a bit.
Very, very
but basically, with like sort of this, if you look at like Davidson era, right? Davidson era, you had another example of 3 companions in the TARDIS. You had Nyssa, Tegan, and Adric. Adric
and then later
should have really had a bit more to himself, I felt. But I'm actually one of those people who doesn't hate Adric as much as others. Like I thought. Maybe it's just a...
I don't mind Adric. I don't know.
I mean, he's not as bad as people say he is, but I do think he was just sort of kind of garbage, like in the sense that he probably wasn't written very well and he wasn't acted very well. Although I think even the actor. I think a lot of it is.
I was watching something the other day and they were pointing out how like clearly Tom Baker did not really like.
No, but he was quite miserable at the time.
They were pointing out how like. They just didn't look like they were getting on set.
No, that being said, I am one of those people who actually does like season 18. Like I know Tom and Lala Ward didn't like it at all, but season 18 is actually one of my favourite seasons. People hate all over it.
E-Space.
Yeah, I really like E-Space. I also really like Leisure Hive, controversially. Everybody hates that one. They say it's boring. I actually really like it. There's other people out there who do, actually. Meglos is just a great bit of fun, you know, sort of double ganger issues. main reason why I like E-Space Trilogy, though, is State of Decay. I also really like Full Circle, because there's a sort of Creature from the Pit vibes. Just sort of a little bit of horror. Just love it. It's just a bit of fun, that one, really, as well. Quite a lot of Season 18 is just a bit of fun, if you ask me. State of Decay, though, is really good, I think. I really like the vampires. I feel like they're criminally underused. I would really, really like to see them come back at some point.
We need more vampires.
Or maybe a spin-off, right, with the Time Lords fighting the vampires. And maybe I could actually be made to give a shit about Rassilon afterwards. Because I don't care about Rassilon. You know?
I think if you go to Rassilon, you do need to do ancient Gallifrey stuff. Like, that's the whole thing. Is they're from ancient Gallifrey, do ancient Gallifrey stuff. Yeah.
You were cutting out a bit in the Discord. Can you maybe try and repeat that?
I was saying, like, if you're going to do Rassilon, you got to do, like, ancient Gallifrey stuff with them, because that's their thing. I don't think doing modern Doctor Who plots with them work, like the Time War.
Maybe.
I'm like,
but like,
do something to do with the past.
I'd say that the Time War, I wouldn't want to actually see much of it at all. Like that's something I feel like is best left to the imagination.
It's done now. That's the thing.
That being said, big finish. Am I right?
Yeah.
I
still need to watch. I need to get more of the War.
War Master is amazing.
I need to get the War Master stuff.
It really shows that Jacoby is an amazing master, and we really should have seen more of him.
Oh, I've loved everything I've heard of it. And like, listen.
Every time I listen to War Master, I haven't listened to all of it.
20th anniversary.
But like every time I listen to it, I am completely buzzing. But I feel like we've gone maybe a little off topic now. So
we're starting to go into Big Finish territory.
Sorry for all you at home. We're
talking about Big Finish.
We're trying to melt your brains. Next, we will talk about Zagreus.
Gonna quiet and you gotta do
I'm
the
back now. My Wi-Fi crashed. I thought you had crashed for a second. But yeah, I was just saying how next we'll start talking about Zagreus and melt their brains. But yeah, let's talk about the episode now. So
I was gonna say, you know that anomaly, that weird world-ending thing.
Yes.
Did you know that's actually a kind of a thing that can happen in physics?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I was
exact anomaly. I'm just sitting there going.
You know what? You know what it made me think of? You know what it made me think of more though? I felt like they were trying to rip off Crisis on Infinite Earths. You know, that DC crossover that was recently. Like, there's this massive orangey red thing just gobbling up planets, and they're just turning to dust. Like, no.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Edit this quite a bit later because of that Wi-Fi crash. Okay, it still seems to be
good
going.
Old Wi-Fi.
Good. Yeah, good old Wi-Fi being garbage.
And next, my Wi-Fi will skip a channel and go over to another one, and I'll cut out.
Anyway, so
next, I enjoyed it so far. I actually found some of the jokes amusing.
I'd say the episode wasn't exactly special, like amazing or anything, but I would say it was quite eventful and an interesting way to start a series. Like, I did enjoy it, but at the same time, I don't think it's the greatest thing ever, but that's because I haven't seen the rest of it. But I would say, very interesting way to start the season.
You really got to watch the resolution of.
Let's talk about this new villain we saw, the weird, I don't know, swarm, crystally man thing.
The guy who for a minute looked like Hellraiser, yeah.
Yeah. Right, so...
I got really so a bit when it gets all his, like, life power back, and I was like, he just looks like Hellraiser for a second, while his spikes appear on his face.
One thing I will say about this guy is, when I first saw him, I was worried he was going to turn out to be the Master, because you know how it is in New Who, it's always the Master, and I'm just thinking, it's the Master, isn't it? It's got to be the Master. Plus, the way he dresses...
the Master or the Daleks, yeah.
The way he dresses, though, he wears black gloves, like one of the, like, Ainley or Delgado, and, like, even his outfit just kind of gave me, like, weird Delgado vibes. And when he started talking to the Doctor about, like, well, I mean, his whole sister thing, which we'll get to in a bit, made me think, oh, maybe it's not the Master. But then the way he was talking to the Doctor, like, we've met before, sort of thing, just made me think, oh no, don't tell me it's the Master. But also, like, Also, when he like drained that person and he almost kind of regenerated, I was just like, is it the Master? Like, maybe he really just.
Are we doing more that steal from other Doctor Who stories and do the classic Who Master thing?
One thing I also thought throughout was maybe like. Maybe it's some sort of anti-Time Lord, like because it drains people to sort of regenerate. Maybe I don't know.
I was.
You cut out again. Sorry, say that again.
I was saying when the Doctor was looking at what's going wrong with the TARDIS, I was half expecting her to say it's anti-time.
Yeah, I was totally thinking it was going to be like anti-time or the anti-Master. It was turning into Zagreus again. What is that?
Yeah, I know. I was like half expecting her just to be like, it's anti-time.
It's anti-time. Anti-time is everything. No, but another thing I was thinking, maybe it was like like the founding fathers of Gallifrey or something being sort of set up or something. Maybe.
This is are they going to have the what face who found the Doctor?
Sorry, can you repeat that again?
So, is it going to be like what's the face who found the Doctor as a child?
Yeah, well, that's another thing. I was thinking.
I was at one point like, is that her? Is that just another incarnation?
One thing I was also thinking is maybe this is the Doctor's original species or something, right? Like where she actually comes from.
Yeah.
Because they said they even like wiped their memory and whatnot. And dancing, I don't know. Maybe this is like the Doctor's husband or something really weird. Well, actually, no, she was a kid, so maybe not. I'm not really sure. Maybe the father. But like, it did seem a little strange. But one thing that also made me for a second think it was the Master as well was the fact, like, because it's still sort of like swarming.
Always the Master.
Yeah, it's always the Master. So this is why I'm always like thinking it's the Master, isn't it? It's New Who. It's always the bloody.
Always got to be looking out for the Master.
Well, one thing that like also the effects on maybe like when he was draining that person. I don't know. I kind of got vibes of that thing that the Master, the cyber thing. What was it called again? They give us Chibnall has really weird naming convention and all that. But I can't name every Doctor Who story anymore because of Chibnall's weird
or something
like sort of names for these episodes and whatnot. But that weird thing that the Master took from that Cyberman, when he was making the cyber.
Like the Cybernaria.
Yeah, maybe that kept him alive or something. I don't know. Like that could be another thing. Like maybe that might like. I'm hoping it's not the Master. It's probably not the Master. Let's hope it's not the Master. Please don't be the Master.
Gonna be the Master.
Yeah. Also, back to that thing about Russell T Davies, because we kind of went a bit like all over the place for this, and this isn't the most organised thing ever. But one thing I will say is, with the Russell T Davies coming back, I kind of He Who Moans had very similar thoughts to me on this. To be honest, I really don't like the idea purely in the sense that announcing it this soon, like the way they announced it, was a massive. Because like less people are going to care about this season than other people, so I feel like this is very relevant to this season. It's going to get kind of sympathy boost from me because it's like it's kind of been sabotaged already, like before it even aired, which is just so cruel. It's honestly, people put hours of work into it, and it's basically like the BBC told them it's not going to matter, mate, because Russell T Davies is coming back. But that being said, anyone who isn't watching it, your loyalty is misplaced, because I think this series actually might be quite interesting. It's probably not going to be amazing. It's not going to be amazing, but I think it's going to be interesting.
Hi, I'm definitely interested in the story.
Huh?
I'm definitely interested in the story.
Yes. Very interesting way to start the series. Just have everything end. Very, very good. It's like
everyone's dead.
Everybody's dead. Just end the universe to begin the series. Bold way of doing things, I have to say. Let's talk about the Sontarans and the Weeping Angels now. So
the Angels just were there. Why the hell they were there?
Yeah, I feel like there's going to be some sort of really interesting time travel plot with this, though, like now, with the angels being back. Because also there was that woman who seemed to know the Doctor, but she also seemed to know the Weeping Angels. Like...
Yeah.
That was quite interesting. I reckon that'll come up soon in the series.
Like, how bad was it being key in the log?
Yeah. Discord keeps cutting out, which is
I
really
can see Doorlock, and I managed to do it better than them.
Yeah, you can't, you literally cannot see because you're part-sighted / blind, and even you could open the door better.
Yeah, and like I can do that in the dark.
I was thinking when she was opening the door, there'd just be a weeping angel in like behind the door anyway, and she'd just be like. But can you repeat that? Sorry.
I said that's why I was thinking, and instead you just blinked like an idiot, and I was like,
yeah. Well, to be fair, when they say don't blink, I always think with that, it's just like, how are they even managing not to blink this whole time anyway? Has someone gone through the footage and just edited out all these blinks? That's always been this kind of bug me with the Weeping Angels, because they're so overpowered in the sense that, like, surely people do blink quite a lot. Like, I don't know how you would hold it. Like, personally, I would be doomed against Weeping Angel. I'd probably just keep a mirror handy and just reflect them back at themselves so they can't move, because they can't beat themselves in a staring contest.
Yeah, did she not have a mirror in her purse, in her handbag?
Like, yeah, I was just thinking, like, is she just going to pull out a mirror and finally do the smart thing? Because, like, I swear a mirror is the key to defeating a Weeping Angel.
Because, like, you get those little pocket mirrors.
And when people start talking about, like, that image of an angel becomes an angel bullshit, surely just, like, you know, the angel, if that was the case, though, then an angel would pop out of the mirror and stare at the other angel. They'd still lose. Like, mirror solution is the solution to beating all Weeping Angels. I just want to see the series end with the Doctor beating a Weeping Angel with a flipping mirror.
But like in Time of the Doctor.
I think a mirror is actually a solution to pretty much all Moffat creations, though, isn't it? Because silence, show them a mirror, they'll forget themselves.
Yeah.
The teller, maybe it'll get confused and think it's like its mate or something, and while it's distracted you can run away before it turns your brain into soup. The Clockwork Man, unfortunately I don't think the mirror would work on that Clockwork Man. You're screwed. You're completely doomed.
Wouldn't work on Snowman.
Huh?
Wouldn't work on the Snowman.
I mean, they're not Moffat creations, so I don't think so. I think the Cybermen are too smart, to be honest. They'll look at the mirror and just be like, it's a mirror, I'm just going to smash it, you know. I'll have the memories of a human being. Like, I'd probably just smash this thing and kill you.
They'd just look at it and go, I look like an awesome thing.
But then again, if they're the current Cybermen, who knows? Because they're too robotic to be intelligent at this point. Like, they'll just punch, like, like, I don't know, they'll just punch themselves or something, I don't know. But also, their design has always had a vital flaw, a stupid flaw, like, in my opinion, like, all the time. Like, ever since Nightmare in Silver came out, I've always been like, you see that bit in the chest, right, with the glowy light that's kind of all Iron Man-y, because they basically Iron Man.
Are like weak spot behind some glass.
Yeah, it's clearly behind glass. And
again, I could say that about the ones that in the hospital had their brains exposed.
Yeah, but like, if you know anything about the Cybermen, their emotional inhibitor is in there. Like, if you look at that Capaldi two-parter, Dark Water, Death in Heaven, I think that was what it was called. I've given up on naming New Who stories at this point.
Yeah, that's like the only good thing I liked in that whole series.
Yeah, but Danny Pink, his emotional inhibitor was in there. He got Clara to even, like, you know, set it up and everything. And
yeah,
so
but
it's clearly there if anyone wants to argue that it's not there. And so all you need really when you're fighting a Cyberman is get a sledgehammer, smash that glass casing, and mate, they'll scream and their head will explode. You've won.
I know this isn't there.
You never had this problem with the classic one.
Set it up so that every dead person had to choose to activate the emotional inhibitor.
Yeah, that just seems dumb.
Like,
just convert them all.
What the hell? I know, like, Missy's really sadistic, but like, yeah.
That takes the cake, but it's also just a bit of a flaw. You might as well just convert all of them anyway. You know?
Yeah, you might just have it automatically turn on. Right?
Yeah, it's kind of dumb.
I can kind of see it as her being like, I want to break them or something, but still,
yeah, I don't know.
In the most dumb way.
I've never thought Missy was, you know, in collection of her marbles or anything. Like, it's clear that she's bonkers. Never thought she was really threatening enough. It's too much bonkers.
Well, I think she's at least sort of evil bonkers rather than
she's a bit more in collection of the Force maybe than John Sims Master at times, but
which is why I just didn't like John Sims.
I personally think that John Sims is good in like well, basically any other appearance at End of Time, because like, you know, that doesn't make sense. It's like, why does he have lightning powers? Why is he eating people? Dinner time, cringe.
I only liked him in World Enough in Time. That was the only
I thought he was good in the other ones because I felt like he was kind of mastery, and it's like, oh yes, I'm going to take over the world and become Prime Minister. Like, yeah, that makes sense for the Master.
I think my big problem with him also is who he came after.
Yes, Jacoby is
I'm like, you have Jacoby. He would have made such a more awesome Master, and then we have.
That being said,
energetic lunatic.
I'm glad he wasn't left in Russell T Davies' hands, because he's much better in the hands of the likes of Nick Briggs at Big Finish. Because honestly, I know we keep talking about Big Finish when we shouldn't. War Master is too good, man. So good. He's the most evil and manipulating and ruthless master ever. Like, oh my God.
Yeah, I'm also thinking if we had him continue, we would have had Skeletor version like we did with John Sim.
Yeah, true. Although, then again, we can't rule it out, because who knows, this new villain might be the Master.
It might be the new Master, Hellraiser Master.
Hellraiser Master. Yeah. So the Sontarans, then, when they first appeared, and one of them started saying, like, you look really horrible, and sort of joking about it, I was very worried.
I like that, because it makes sense for Sontaran. They're not supposed to live that long.
Yeah, but one thing that I was a little bit worried about was if they were going to become too humorous again, because I was like, oh no, they're joking. Like, it's like I've got this PTSD now after Moffat era. Yeah. It's like, oh no, the Sontarans are going to become a joke again. No, because.
At least this joke makes sense in context of Sontaran.
I feel like it was a better joke in hindsight now. Yeah,
wouldn't be.
But like,
culturally,
I suddenly just started seeing red and being like, oh no, not the joke Sontarans. Anything but the joke Sontarans. That's how the CIA could really torture a Whovian, though. Just show them the.
See, that's one really bad thing of Russell and the Moffat era, both combined.
I will say,
is the Sontaran.
I'm fine with Strax being the only exception, because it makes sense for him, I feel. But like any other Sontaran,
I don't mind Strax, but every other Sontaran doing it.
Like in Time of the Doctor, where they're trying to find the cloaking device, and then they just get blown up, and I'm like, that is stupid.
I mean, I did kind of laugh at that joke, but yeah, it wasn't very Sontaran.
Yeah, like if you swap the Sontarans out and put any other sort of monster that isn't like well known, it would be much better, and like, you know, it made more sense really, because the Sontarans are supposed to be military, tactical geniuses. One thing I really hated about them in the Russell T Davies era is also they were very cowardly, because one of the things is I always thought that they were sort of supposed to be more sort of brave and like, you know, we'll fight our enemy head on. Like, I mean, they take on electric jellyfish, for God's sake. That's terrifying.
And then they're like, now we're going to make your weapons useless.
And it's like, nah, mate, you have flipping space armor. Have a fair fight.
That's
I mean, it's not even fair anyway. The Sontarans should face the bullets with dignity, like the 10th Doctor said. I mean, they've got space armor, for goodness sake. The bullets from these unit soldiers would just bounce off of the armour, and then sometimes we'll just cut them down with their lasers, for goodness sake.
I'm getting that classic Who Brigadier line now, where he's moaning about never encountering an alien that isn't bulletproof.
Well, it's true. I mean, if all aliens seem to be more advanced and more capable and, more technologically advanced, I've said that already, but better than humans, just always...
Yeah.
It would make sense that they would always be immune to bullets, because they seem to always be better than humans in this universe. I just for once want to meet a bunch of aliens that aren't better than us. It's like that line in Deadpool where he's interviewing for X-Force recruits, and there's like that one guy who's like, I'm from Mojo World, and I'm an alien, and that means I'm better than all of you at everything. And it's just like, I just wish we'd find a planet of aliens that were just worse than me at everything. Like, that's totally how I sometimes feel with sci-fi. It's like, why isn't there an alien?
Yeah, it's weird how they're always all better than us.
It's all, yeah. I feel like this is just getting personal here. I mean, one thing I will say is...
there's one world at least.
I will say one thing is, though, I mean, it kind of does, in a weird way, make sense, but we're not exactly... Like, we could say we're smart as much as we want, but, I mean, I think we're a bit more stupid than the human race actually gives us credit for. Plus...
Yeah, we're only the third most intelligent species on the planet after
clearly in the
dolphins and
Doctor
mice.
Who universe... The humans are, like, even more stupid, because they seem to forget, like, Dalek invasions, Cybermen invasions... invasions, just monsters. They seem to forget it every time a new showrunner comes along. It's kind of weird, that, isn't it?
That giant fucking Cyberman, that was stupid.
The Christmas star.
That whole time, half the population got mind controlled.
Yeah, exactly. I like that bit though. It's just like they just walk past, completely forget. Like it's just like, oh, I thought it was some sort of film. And I'm just like, yeah. Huh?
The aliens that crashed into
yeah.
The time the planet moved.
Well, that's the Daleks get in it. But yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just weird that they never remember any alien invasions. Like, for once, could they... I swear they have some sort of freaking amnesia.
Like the time that Undead rose as Cybermen.
But it's like they have short-term memory loss, the human race of the Doctor Who world, you know? Like,
yeah.
It really doesn't make any sense. Like, at all.
Yeah, he's kind of getting a bit ridiculous. That's one of my problems with the modern era.
I'm beginning to think maybe these are just not...
At least in the classic era, it was kind of like, oh, it just happened in like a small village somewhere. So like,
yeah. So no one's gonna like have it big. But when you see it on like the news in these shows, like they're literally their own version of BBC News or something, and it's like, oh, there's aliens attacking downtown. It's like. Surely
it's like literally Cybermen and Daleks are fighting each other.
There's video evidence, for goodness sake. Maybe the government and Torchwood are so good at their jobs. They've given everybody amnesia pills in like their food or something, and they're erasing the footage. That's what it is. That is it. We've solved it.
It's in the water.
It's in the water. Don't drink the water. The government's poisoned it.
They've got about fluorine in the water.
Maybe that's happening in real life. Okay, now we're going down a conspiracy theory route.
I thought it's aliens.
I forgot what I was going to say now. This conversation's got too funny now. But yeah,
major tangent.
It's just. But yeah, it's a bit weird that they don't. It's the government, guys. It's not some crack in some wall erasing people's memories. It is the government.
What was the explanation for everything in the Russell era?
That is true. That was true. That And like, I kind of think that would actually make the most sense to tie up this continuity. I mean, I know people say like, "Oh, get over it. Doctor Who's not big on continuity," and in some sense, I agree with you. But at this point, I feel like you should maybe make it a little bit more sense sometimes. I can understand maybe being like, "Oh yeah, we're gonna make it make a little less sense because it's Doctor Who." I'm like, yeah, fair enough. But like, there's some things where it's just like, this is plain obvious, guys. Can you just please give us a reason for it?
Timeless God was good. That concept.
Yeah, I might have to edit some of this a little bit, but well, I mean,
you might want to edit what I said was Super God.
Okay. I'll know what I want.
Timeless God was good.
But yeah. Let's talk a bit more about the episode and stop getting off topic. I've had to say, when the episode began and there was like that villain doing his, well, the dog who isn't actually a villain doing his evil monologue, I just felt like this is so Chibnall, just show not tell. Like, I mean, tell not show. I keep almost making that sense. But it's just like it's becoming so clear now that even the villains are just doing these over dramatic monologues and stuff. You know?
Yeah. Was kind of like a bit over the top sometimes. Also, like, he's somehow linked to the Division people.
Yeah,
I don't
a bit weird
really
that
get
one.
that. I was like, what? Time Lords are hiring dogs now.
With this episode, so much happened in it that I can't even remember like little things like where that new guy is from. You know, what was it? Liverpool. It was Liverpool. That was it.
Liverpool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Liverpool.
What's it with them choosing people with annoying accents? Like, there's like, I know it.
It's the Ninth Doctor from Liverpool.
Okay, people at Liverpool and Yorkshire are probably going to start hating us now. But really, it's like first it's the Welsh, then it's the people from Yorkshire, and then it's Liverpool. I mean, I have nothing against these people.
I did kind of enjoy that bit though, where Yaz and
it just seems to me
that they're about being from Sheffield and Liverpool.
God, but it just seems to me that they're cycling through all these different places, you know, like on Earth, modern day Earth, and this is something that most classic Who fans will always have a problem with, is that all the companions are always modern day Earth at this point. It's getting ridiculous. Well, we might be about to break that trend actually with this new guy coming along. What's his face? The guy in that ship, you know, the one who's like reporting on.
Oh, is he actually going to be a companion?
Apparently, I've heard rumours anyway. Like he's going to be a companion.
For goodness sake! I want more focus on Yaz. We
that's
can
that's my problem with
just standing there as well. We can still focus on Yaz.
That's my problem with
this. Because they're focused on Graham. And I'm like,
but that's literally my problem with it. There's just too much focus on like introducing new companions. It's like, focus on the one you already have, for goodness sake. Stop cluttering the TARDIS.
That's interesting.
Well,
the first time I watched the first episode of Series 11, I was like, okay, the one I like is Yaz. I want more about Yaz. And then we get a little bit of Yaz. And I'm like, that's interesting. I want more of that. Yaz, and then we don't get anything else.
Yaz isn't going to be interesting like anytime soon. Like, I'm sorry. No. But to be honest, I was kind of just getting a bit annoyed with Yaz because she seems to suddenly become a know-it-all and like, you know, start spouting random technobabble. I'm like, when did she actually like learn all this stuff about the TARDIS and whatnot? It's like, it's just a really advanced ship that like very few characters in the show have mastered. It's like, how is she suddenly knowing everything about this thing?
Talking about Yaz and the Doctor's relationship, did you hear that couple's argument?
Sorry, can you repeat that? You broke up a little bit.
I said, did you catch the couple style argument? I was like, when they were arguing on the TARDIS, I was like, have they written this like an old married couple a bit? It was like,
yeah, let's just hope that's not going to be the case.
Are they actually doing the Yaz Doctorship there? They sounded a bit like an old married couple.
I agree. Although I hope that won't happen. But yeah, I agree, but I really hope that doesn't happen. But also, another thing that really annoyed me...
Yeah, she did kind of turn to Rose a bit, where she knew everything about
also, one thing that just really annoyed me is that, you know that cliche where it's like, a character will get really annoyed with, like, the main character. It's like, oh no, you're lying to me, tell me the truth. It was just happening there, and I'm like, no, can you do something original for once?
I don't see why she's lying about it. You find out why.
Yeah, but also...
It's not like this big mystery.
It just seems to me like Yaz's one character trait that she's going to get throughout the entirety of her run in the show is, I always am suspicious of the Doctor, and I'm always asking, what are you hiding from me? Why are you lying to me? Open up to me. Like, that's literally all she does now.
She's simultaneously obsessed and, like, wanting to be with the Doctor, but at the same time constantly annoyed and not enjoying herself at all. It's very weird. She has like 2 states, and it's like, what? They're opposite things. Like,
I just don't know.
And nothing, and make your mind up, Yaz.
This is why you don't really do 3 companions in a TARDIS. I think 2 should really be the limit, but that's kind of a push.
I think 2's fine. I don't have a problem with multiples. I think 2 is the right number in a way.
Yeah, 2 or 1 is okay, but maybe 2 actually. I think 2 is the best number, really.
I think 2 works better because you can split them up.
Yeah, but also it reduces the chances of the companion or the Doctor falling in love with each other. At least my way.
Yeah,
then again,
it also means you can change up dynamics in different stories.
Although then again, I could totally see then just some. I could totally see with Russell T Davies coming over because he's obsessed with love. I swear sometimes.
If we get another.
No. We'll get a love triangle. It's like both companions will want to, be with the Doctor.
Be like series 1 all over again.
Yeah, but worse. Let's be like both companions are after the Doctor instead, and it's like no.
It'd be like series 1 or series 3. Being into the Doctor.
Yeah, well,
when he's with another companion that's also into the Doctor.
With series 3, I actually have not much problem. I mean, I'd rather Martha didn't love the Doctor, but like. Yeah. I thought that Martha. I don't actually think Martha's that bad. I know you don't like Martha, but personally,
I just don't know what they did with her.
I think credit is should be given where credit is due, and it's like she is clearly very smart, maybe even smart, like rivaling the Doctor somehow in intelligence, which is quite impressive.
Also, one of my problems with Martha, she's always saving the day for the.
Yeah, she's always saving the Doctor, and I'm just like, if a companion is doing this often, I'm sorry, give
I don't mind them
freaking medal and a podium for companion.
Yeah,
it's just like she just needs a podium in the TARDIS.
Fine, that's great. Companions should do it every now.
She literally saves, but
they shouldn't always be the damned in distress. Sometimes they should be.
I actually quite like how she seems to like. She saves them in different ways, but like she generally seems to save everybody in Doctor Who and Torchwood whenever she's turned up.
Unless it's the Doctor's daughter, then she just gets someone killed.
Yeah, but like. I feel like that's very in the spirit of her character, really. I feel like that's very in the spirit of Martha's
story. Is get a character killed.
Yeah. Oh no. Oh, I would.
He has no reason to be there.
When I first watched that,
make a character killed.
When I first watched that, literally, I was practically almost crying for that poor half. I'm just like, no.
That's what she does in that story.
One thing I don't actually get is how. Actually, no, it was mud, wasn't it? I was going to say, I don't get how fish drowned, but then I was like, actually, it's kind of mud, so I kind of.
It was like sinky sound mud that crushed his thing or something.
Yeah, but.
Like his tank.
Yeah, I'd say Martha saving people is actually kind of very much in her character. Like, I wouldn't want to see her all the time doing it, but her whole thing is basically she's a medical student / doctor, and she wants to save people's lives, and so she saves people quite often in the show.
I mean, it was that and her slightly stalkery kind of with the Doctor. I don't like her.
Yeah, well, I still.
It comes across a bit creepy with her.
No matter how your feelings on her.
Personally,
I don't think she's a stalker, but no matter your feelings on her, I feel like we can both say that she's better than Rose, right?
I think she's better than Clara.
No, you really would put Rose above Martha? Like, seriously?
I don't know. They're kind of equal, I think.
Oh, okay.
I'm not a big fan of a lot of battles here. The only companion I really like here is Donna.
I like Donna, but I feel like there's an element of Donna being maybe a little overrated, personally.
I just saw the relationship.
I'd say the companions I put above Donna maybe are Amy, Martha, and Bill Potts. Like,
I think I put Bill up there with Donna, but I just
Bill is so underrated.
I like the companion, where it's just you know, having fun, going off doing random shit, you know. And I like that. So that's what I want in a companion. I just want the Doctor and her mate, or his mate, or whatever. Or if we go off the book in of Russell's adaptation of Rose, their mate.
Yeah.
Can't wait for Russell to do that. Russell does that, I'm going to be so pleased with all the man babies. Putting all their hope on Russell. If Russell follows his plan that he put in his adaptation of Rose, I would be so pleased because all the man babies are putting their hopes in Russell returning. And it's like, yeah, but Russell put down that he would make a black woman and a non-binary person as the next two Doctors. So,
yeah, he was theorising that the next Doctor would be black or non-binary.
And I'm just like, yes, I want this. Why not man babies? Come on.
If we do this sort of video again, hopefully a bit more organised, but I doubt it knowing us because we always go a bit off topic. But if we do,
I'm good at going off on tangents.
We are both very good at that, to be honest. But if we do this again and we do it all the way up to Jodie's regeneration, we have to talk about sort of like what we think, like what we thought about maybe the next Doctor would be, and our opinions on sort of what people have been saying about, you know, regeneration, what's going to come next, I think, because that could be a really interesting topic. There's quite a lot of interesting arguments out there, to be honest. Except the ones where it's just clear that they're racist or sexist, like really evident. It's just like, yeah, okay, dude, you clearly just don't like black people, or I don't know, gay people, or female people.
Yeah, I think it's a bit weird to be like that limit. Random.
I don't think
it's random.
I don't think the Doctor should be like any sort of sexual orientation, like in the sense that like.
Oh yeah, I'm very much the Doctor's asexual.
I think the Doctor should just remain asexual because it just seems a bit weird, really. Because if you picture like Bill Hartnell or like in the position of maybe like David Tennant, it's just really weird. Like, it's just like imagine him kissing Rose or something or River Song.
He was the most romantic of them, I think. He was the most kind of over. He was the most romantic and overtly sexual of them all.
What, William Hartnell?
No, Tennant.
Oh right, yeah.
All the others you could make an argument for being completely asexual. Like
Paul McGann, actually, I don't know about that one.
I'd say movie McGann, but not audio McGann. Audio McGann does not really do that.
Yeah, I'd argue maybe McGann's like the one that I'd actually allow the exception for.
I think of a point.
Also, people get like annoyed about that half-human thing, but the way I see it,
yeah, I never liked that.
The way I see it was McGann was just half-human when he regenerated because of the damage to his body. Like he was not actually human, but like close enough to being half-human. And basically, the joke about him saying, I'm half human on my mother's side is just, I think, a joke, really.
Yeah.
Really, he's just half human from the accent. Well, not actually half human, just, close enough to being human. But then when he drinks that potion that they give him, the sisters give him, that just, because it makes him regenerate. In my point of view, and what I thought at the time was,
that potion's meant to just be lemonade, right? That's actually canon.
But okay, the sisterhood have been worshipping lemonade this whole time.
That is meant to have been lemonade or something.
You do realise you've been guarding lemonade this whole time, right? Wait, what?
There's maybe this huge trick on the witches or something.
Well,
idiotic like that.
Well, and anyway,
it's dumb.
The regeneration that it causes, I think, just turns him back into a Time Lord, fully fledged Time Lord. That's how.
I can see the regeneration just refreshing. That's how it would make
sense, really. Yeah. It would just reset it all and make him a Time Lord again.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. Yeah. A lemonade refreshing. It's refreshing lemonade. I really don't like that explanation, though. That's dumb.
I think
the lemonade thing, not what you were saying.
Yeah, I think what we should talk about now, because I think we should probably stop talking soon, because there's not much to talk about this episode. I feel we talked about pretty much the main points, but also
it's a lot of setup.
Yeah, we talked about a lot of sort of
really what it is.
Our own random, interesting theories and opinions, like how it's always going to be the monster.
I will say this about the episode: I actually liked the humour. Which is weird to say for
I found the new companion actually genuinely.
a few times.
I thought the new companion was actually genuinely funny, but more or less everything else just kind of was like, nah, I'm.
Yeah, that's where most of the chuckles came from. This is interesting.
But then again, I'm just stone cold. I'm just a really cynical Whovian, just sit there and be like, no, this sucks. This is all rubbish. Because I'm just like, it's not that classic series. So I guess I'm kind of a bit guilty of that.
I had that phase where I just hated everything that wasn't.
I feel like I'm kind of guilty of that. That new Who sort of shit kicking.
There are elements of New Who though that deserve to be.
But yeah,
there are elements of New Who that deserve it.
Yeah, truly, there are some elements of Who that do deserve this said shit kicking. But yeah. When people talk about series 11 and 12 being really, really bad, I'm just like, no, what are you talking about? Let's just skip backwards and look at series 9's finale, Hellbent, that thing. That's truly worth. Yeah, but when people complain about the Timeless Child, I'm like, at least it's not as bad as Hellbent, guys. Seriously. I think people are somehow weirdly forgot. I feel like Chibnall's Who's actually been weirdly therapeutic because it's distracted people and made them forget that Hellbent even exists in a weird way.
So you say it's therapeutic, the series 11 for that reason?
Huh? You cut out.
I was saying I found series 11 quite therapeutic. There was no returning villain from this two parties. And that's what
my problem with series 11 really was it was just a bit too sort of bland. The problem with I'm fine with no returning villains, but my main problem was
what they replaced them with was a bit crap. Yeah.
Yeah. Also, I'm still really peeved off that Tim Shaw or whatever survived. Yeah. Survived 6 bombs going off inside of him. I'm sorry. If someone puts 6 bombs in you and detonates them, I think you should be dead. It should just be another Stenza in that position. But whatever. Then again,
yeah. I'm gonna
have to sort of just stop talking about Tim Shaw and the series 11 finale, because otherwise I'm just gonna go down this endless rabbit hole of me just being really annoyed because I really don't like that last episode, the one that I can't name because
it's been like me with Hellbent. I will rant about it.
Well, I hate Hellbent a lot more.
That's why I just don't talk about Hellbent.
I'd almost call the series 11 finale somewhat plagiarism in that it's just a toned down version of Stolen Earth Journey's End in a weird way. It's just like, yeah, we're going to steal planets. Although Stolen Earth Journey's End is kind of like a bit like Pirate Planet in a weird way, because it's taken that concept again. But hey, I'm fine with a little bit of reused material. I guess it's in the same franchise, right? Staying in the family.
Yeah. Oh, that's one of my favourite.
My main problem with that series is it's just very, very bland, and also no one really gets any development except maybe Graham. But also the problem with the monsters of the story is quite often the villains would turn out actually not to really be the villains. And it's interesting once or twice, but when your whole series is literally just like, oh, they're not villains after all, they're just some aliens or spiders or something. It's just like, no, what the hell? Can we for once just have some proper villains? Why does everything have to turn out to not be a villain? You need villains to make stories somewhat interesting, and I don't want Tim Shaw to be the only villain of your series, because quite frankly, he was only good for one episode. But he's no... No, I'm still here. But Tim Shaw is he is no Dalek. Do not reuse him. And he was clearly dead at the end of that episode. So, quite frankly, I vote, this is my opinion, but personally, I wish it takes you away, Battle of whatever word thing I can't say, and resolution of the Daleks. I wish they were kind of just all wiped. I don't like them. I don't like them.
Not takes you away.
We should definitely take away It Takes You Away. It Takes You Away was terrible.
It was awesome.
It was not. It was a joke. I mean, God's sake, there's a freaking frog in a chair just suddenly. It's so weird. But also that blind girl. I'm sorry. Like, I mean, she just couldn't act. Like, I know people like complain about this sort of thing, and honestly, I wish the actor the best, but really, just they couldn't act. At all, in my opinion. I
didn't mind them as an actor.
I really just found them annoying. It was just terrible. I can't even bring myself to rewatch the episode because of that acting.
I can, because I think it's amazing.
But I'm gonna say this: Sontaran design, really loving it. I mean, I changed my Discord picture to it because I liked it that much. But yeah, I really like that design actually, because it's a nice nod back to the Time Warrior, which is one of my favorite episodes. I really like Link's, but it's that proper warrior design, not that cheap and nasty blue plasticky, I don't know, kids toy design. It's a proper soldier meant for war, wearing his suit of armor. Yeah, but it's like proper armor for a soldier. Yeah. And, like, also, the makeup, I thought was actually pretty good. It was a nice sort of nod back. I thought it was actually really, I don't know, I just really liked it. I thought it was somehow got the best of both worlds, I felt, you know? Like, the prosthetics. I felt like it was basically perfect. I also quite liked how... Oh, I'll let you finish. Hang on. So, say what you were saying.
I was saying, you talk about the makeup, but
Discord's cutting you out again.
Discord.
Yeah. But,
I was just saying, I get the two doctors vibe.
Okay. Yeah. But I will say this, I did quite like how the two Sontarans kind of look different. Like, one reminded me a bit of Lynx, and then the other one kind of reminded me of the Sontarans in Invasion of Time.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I quite liked it. In fact, one of the Sontarans sounded a bit like one of the Sontarans that had two doctors. Like, the one who was just like, "Oh, chum, I haven't seen you in years. You look terrible." It just kind of reminded me.
Like how weirdly upstart they started sounding.
Yeah. They're just very upbeat Sontarans.
Oh, they're happy. They're back there to war. Yeah,
but yeah.
I'm interested in why there's so many like.
I am. I am genuinely looking forward to seeing what they do with the Sontarans. I think that'll be very, very exciting.
Yeah. I'm actually quite excited about that episode.
I am very excited about that episode. I was going to be excited no matter what, because I just love the design of these new Sontarans. I am curious to see what's going to happen to them, because there was something really weird going on with that Sontaran on the horse in the actual trailer and all. Like, his eyes seemed to be white and his skin seemed a bit off, which just made me think maybe it's something to do with this Flux or the new villains. Maybe he's possessed. I don't know. But I can't wait to find out. And honestly, that was quite an interesting way to start and end the first episode of the series. I think just end the universe. That's always been something I've actually thought that they should totally do in Doctor Who. Just end, maybe not the universe. That's a bit far, but maybe end the Earth and make the Doctor go back in time and fight several monsters or something to stop the end of Earth or something.
Yeah.
I feel like that might somewhat be what's going on here. But yeah,
it's a very Big Finish plot, isn't it?
It is a little bit, but I feel like it's something that wouldn't really work in audio form, personally.
Yeah, but it's not like
It's kind of like something I'd see Big Finish making a box set on. You know, where the stories are kind of tied together by that.
A bit like a Legacy of Time sort of story. Yeah. But you haven't listened to that yet, have
you? No, I haven't. I mean to. I just haven't. It's a bit like sort of the Doom Coalition and Dark Eyes and
I weirdly think of the end.
What other box sets are kind of like that? The Sixth Doctor Last Adventures were a bit like that as well, to be honest. Although they weren't as they kind of happened at different points in the Sixth Doctor's life until you get to the very end. It's really weird, but I love it. It's a great box set. It's not like the stories aren't amazing, but they're very enjoyable, and it really is a great ending to the Sixth Doctor. Much deserved, quite frankly.
Yeah, we mean to.
I really like what they did for his regeneration. I thought that was brilliant.
Yeah, I've liked it.
There's a great video out there on YouTube where they've actually made a proper imagery to go with it, and it is bang on. I just watched that and I'm like, yes, this is one of the best regenerations in Doctor Who. I actually really like.
Yeah, I've put those on my YouTube like that.
Yeah, it's a great video.
Really cool.
Yeah.
I was like, basically, okay, I gotta get the box set. I just not.
Yeah, just for that ending, honestly.
I've got a lot of books. It's fine.
Yeah, but I think I'll end the recording soon. But
Okay.
Yeah, I do think this series is actually going to be better than maybe I thought.
Yeah, it's definitely a good start.
Yeah, we can maybe talk about the next episode and maybe how it's disappointed us or something, because I don't know. This is Chibnall we're talking about, and if he's writing all of these stories, we can almost.
I'm just understanding.
We can almost tell that he's going to somehow trip up on his own work. Almost, and kind of cancel it out. We'll have one episode that's a positive ranking, one that's kind of a negative ranking, and they'll kind of just subtract from each other, and then we'll just get this neutral zero middle ground of good and bad, kind of smashed together in a blender.
The endings. I would be interested if you pull Moffat and actually does something good in the last series.
Yeah, but you say that. Pull Moffat and do something good in the series. For every sort of Big Bang, Name of the Doctor, Dark Water, Death in Heaven, and World Enough in Time, you've also got the Hellbounce out there. And Wedding's a River Song.
Sort of do a decent job at the end of it.
But I would hope that, for his final sort of run on Doctor Who, that he would do a good job. I think he would.
Yeah.
Let's be hopeful. I mean, Chibnall's not as bad as people say, right? Like, he's no. I feel like maybe he's a bit more grounded than Moffat. You know, which is a good thing, I think.
Yeah.
Because Moffat was just kind of like, look at me, I'm so clever, I'm going to do all these crazy complex things that barely anyone can follow. And I don't know. I mean, you can
not even he could follow
them after like numerous rewatches and also maybe being a classic Whovian. But if you're not any of those things, or doing any of those things, you're just kind of like, what the heck is going on here? I mean, to be honest, even if you do all those things, you're probably still going to be a bit like, nah, I'm not interested, mate. You're just going too far. Because
yeah, you say that.
When Series 6 was on, I disliked it so much. I literally just kind of like had a massive gap where I just kind of braked, and then suddenly like I turned back on my TV and it's like, oh, it's Series 7, and I watched the Amy and Rory ones, and then they die, and I'm like, oh, for God's sake, you bring them back, which was bad enough, but then you just kill them off in a way that isn't really killing them off, but just not satisfying in the slightest. One of my problems with Moffat, and why I'm kind of glad he's gone, is he seems to have a strange obsession with not killing off characters, or killing them off and then bringing them back, and it just doesn't send. It doesn't send that kind of like correct message about sort of death. You know, like maybe Doctor Who could sort of explain to younger people, you know, that death, you know, people die, you know, and they don't always come back. Don't delude your audience about death and treat them like kids and bring them back like, oh, it's a magical fairyland, fairy tale thing.
You say that, but
like something like that, stuff like that has always annoyed me, because literally basically nobody dies in a Moffat story. You're always safe. There's no threat there. It's completely unreal. Anyway, I think it's.
Oh, talking about things. Did you notice they referenced the other Gibson stories with the was it that planet one that turned out to be Earth? Did you catch the reference? He had that virus that Ryan got.
Yeah. I saw that. Yeah. I caught that. Yeah, I noticed that. I was like, oh yeah, that's a nice little reference.
Just randomly referenced.
Yeah. Anyway, I think I'll end it here now.